campaign finance system. So we've talked about Tim Dunn and Ferris Wilkes, who are basically controlling Texas politics. You may hear a lot about Greg Abbott or Dan Patrick or Ken Paxton, but the people who are really pulling the strings behind the scenes are these billionaire mega donors. And that's because in Texas, we don't have any campaign contribution limits. You can give as much money as you want to a politician of your choice. So for instance, Greg Abbott, just a few weeks ago, took a single check from a Pennsylvania billionaire. And that check was for $6 million. One campaign contribution, $6 million. Anybody in here have a $6 million check they can give to Greg Abbott or your state rep? That tells me that that billionaire mega donor from Pennsylvania has more influence with our governor than we do, because we can't afford to cut him $6 million checks. So it has a corrosive impact on our political system. Our broken campaign finance system is the rot at the core of our broken politics. And I will tell you, if we've already been working to propose some of these common sense ethics measures that could at least improve our system a little bit. But there's one more big process change that needs to be made, and that's in regards to redistricting. So I won my seat back in 2018 when I did that walk across the district. But then in 2020, after that census, our state legislature was required to redraw the lines. You've got to change district boundaries based on changing populations so that everybody has roughly equal representation. The problem is in states like Texas, the politicians draw their own lines, which in any other industry would be called a conflict of interest. And so in 2021, my Republican colleagues decided to target me. And they did that by cracking my district in half, by silencing the voices of people in my community, particularly Black and brown voters. And that is happening across the state. And think about the impact. My district was a 50-50 swing district, which meant, as a legislator, I had to appeal and talk to lots of different kinds of people. I couldn't just win with Democrats. I had to win with a broad coalition of Republicans and independents and Democrats. But more and more districts are heavily slanted toward one party over the other. You've got these 80% Trump districts that are bright red. You've got these 80% Biden districts that are bright blue. And you have almost no swing districts left. So think about that. If you've got an 80% Trump district, the competition in the general election is not really there. We know the Republican is probably going to win that district. So then where is the competition? In what election? In the primary. Think about that. If all the competition is in a primary, that means that you're going to attract the voters at the extremes, the partisans. And that means that more and more politicians are only having to pander to their base. They don't have to talk to voters in the middle. They don't have to talk to regular people. They just got to talk to the extreme partisans in their party. That's why you're seeing so much extreme policy making, so much extreme rhetoric than you used to, because our redistricting system is broken. I know that's not an exciting thing to talk about. It's not something you get fired up about on social media, or you don't see it on the news. But I promise you, these systematic obstacles to democracy, like gerrymandering and big money, they are distorting every other policy outcome that you see from the state capitol. So I urge you, especially as the most informed, active citizens in this community, to pay attention to some of these systems that are tearing our politics apart and hurting people around the state, even though they may not know it. Other questions?